Hello, Patriots. Welcome back to the Maryland Maverick. My name is Colin McEvers. In today's news, Sheriff of Wicomico County, Mike Lewis, is getting a lot of great press because he and about 6 other sheriffs in the state of Maryland gathered together and did a press conference standing up against the policies of the Wes Moore administration and the state Democrats in dismantling partnerships and collaboration between sheriff's offices in the state and ICE, and doing the work that's necessary to get illegal criminals out of the country. Not even people that are simply just here illegally. Very basic expectation of getting people who have committed crimes in this country more easily and more efficiently, getting them out of the country, even though the border is shut and there are no more illegal immigrants coming into the country at the time. There are still millions of illegals that are dispersed throughout the country, and a lot of them are in Maryland, because we're a sanctuary state. Only a couple weeks ago, we became more of a sanctuary state because Wes Moore signed into law a bill which outlaws partnerships. Well, it outlawed the 287G program, which allowed for local governments, sheriff's offices, and counties to partner with ICE to get illegal criminals out of the country, out of the state. But that was infringed upon by the state government, because, as I've said on the show many times in the past, and this is the case, there's no doubt about it, the state government does not care about Maryland citizens. They don't care about heritage Marylanders. They care about protecting the rights of the immigrant community, the illegal immigrant community, and even more absurdly, the illegal immigrant community that has committed heinous crimes, whether it be robbery, minor offenses, petty crimes, all the way up to rape, murder, assault, all these things. They are protecting those individuals because this is who the 287G program and other partnerships between ICE and these county governments, that is who is being affected. The illegal criminals who were literally committing more crimes than just being in the country. They're also violent. They're dangerous. And the state Democrats are literally standing up for them and promoting and protecting them, which is just absurd, but it's not a surprise at all, because that's the national tone. That's the temperature. That's the atmosphere that we're in, where Democrats are not agreeing on the basic principle that the purpose of the American government is to protect and serve American citizens, not illegal criminals. We saw that during the State of the Union address, where they all sat down when they were asked to stand if they believed that the purpose of the American government was to support and protect American citizens. They sat down. They don't agree with that. And it's made very apparent in Maryland, where they're becoming more and more of a sanctuary state. And they're pointing their fingers at local governments and local sheriffs that have been duly elected by their citizens, by the people that are in those counties, and saying, you cannot work with ICE. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. You cannot enforce your laws and protect your streets. And so Sheriff Mike Lewis was one of the people that stood up during the press conference, and he said that the Maryland state government is putting politics over public safety, which is exactly what's happening. They are using this as a red meat issue that appeals to Democratic voters, because a lot of Democrat voters in the base hate ICE, despite the fact that ICE is protecting them, the American citizens. And they're just doubling down. And they're going against federal officers that are implementing the agenda of the administration, what the Trump administration was elected to do: mass deportation. And there's another bill that's now being proposed, because a lot of Maryland sheriffs, including Mike Lewis, have came out and said that they're now going to be informally doing collaborative partnerships and work with ICE. And so now the Maryland Democrats are trying to prevent that from happening. They are trying to show that they support the immigrant community and they support immigrant rights, and they don't want people to feel like they're in danger because ICE is going to come and get them. No care given for the Maryland citizens who are at risk of being murdered or raped or robbed by these violent criminals. No care for them. So there's this bill which is going to be proposed called the Community Trust Act, and that would restrict ICE interaction with local police further than it already has been with the dismantling of the 287G programs throughout the state. So the Maryland sheriffs are saying, we are going to continue working with ICE. We don't care about what you're saying because you don't really represent the people that live in Wycomico or Frederick or wherever, Hartford County. We are going to continue doing this because it is in the best interests of the people who live here, who don't want to be robbed or killed or raped or murdered, anything like that. And they elected us to protect them because we believe in law and order. And the Maryland Democrats are saying, well, no, you can't do that because ICE is bad. ICE is the Gestapo. ICE is Trump's Gestapo. That's the sign that the college Democrat that was out there in the snow with his little sign, he was a little bit off. He wasn't, playing with all the cards, if you know what I mean. A little bit, possibly born with an extra few chromosomes here or there. That's besides the point. They think that ICE is the Gestapo of Trump. And so they're going to do everything they can to prevent ICE from working with these local governments to more efficiently get these criminals out of the country. The state government is also trying to prohibit local police from investigating or arresting a person based upon their citizenship status. So if they are here illegally, they cannot be arrested by local police or by a sheriff's deputy based on that fact. So the police cannot check whether or not they are actually a citizen. And even if they know that the person is not a citizen, that they are here illegally, they cannot conduct an arrest. So that person will still be out on the streets, they will still be in the country, and they will go without any punishment. And that is the lack and the disrespect for law and order that Democrats have. And that's why we need to fight back against them. And so I really love to see that Mike Lewis is getting a lot of attention because he really is a fighter. And he is going to continue fighting against this idiocy that's going on with the state government. Because Wes Moore and these Democrats, they're so out of touch. They're in Annapolis. They don't know how things work over here. They don't really understand the fears, the concerns, the interests of people over in these rural counties. Even if they want to do their photo ops and they want to do their fake press conferences that they have to bus in a bunch of people from Montgomery and Baltimore counties to, they want to do their photo ops. They don't understand what the people are worried about. I don't want to walk out my door, go down the street, and get stabbed and mugged by some illegal Guatemalan who shouldn't even be here, who should have been deported years ago, but who the Democrats in Maryland have been protecting for all this time. That is a fear that a lot of people have to deal with. We are living in it. We are living on the ground. We can't go behind our gated community and have our protection and our forces and our security forces that are going to protect us and sit behind a screen and demonize people for wanting to protect and save their country. Because all these leftists, a lot of them are very well off. They're in the upper middle class, and they have the audacity to come at us, people in the lower middle class, and say, you should be ashamed of yourself. You are a racist piece of crap. You're trash. You are deplorable. You need to accept these illegals into your communities. Why don't you accept them into your house? Why don't you accept them into your neighborhoods? How about that? Why don't you do that? If you want to be a social justice warrior, if you want all these illegals to pour into the country, you want to open your arms and say, oh, America is for everybody. America is for every single person who wants to come here, even if they're from a third world country, they don't speak English. America is for everybody because we're a nation of immigrants. Why don't you welcome them into your neighborhood? Because a lot of these leftists, they live in all white neighborhoods. They live in highly safe, very nice, gated communities. They don't want to live with the illegals. They don't want to live with the people that can't speak English. They want to send their kids to schools that are 100% English speaking, that are like 99% white. And they have the audacity to come at us and say, oh, you're the racist. You're a racist because you don't support this. You don't support the illegals invading your country and taking over and invading. The audacity is insane. And all we're saying, this is common sense stuff. It's self-evident. We just want the criminals. I mean, that's not all that I want. I want every single illegal immigrant who is in our country, whether or not they're the best person in the world or the worst person in the world. I don't care. I want them all gone. I want them all out of the country. We shouldn't give amnesty to a single one of them, regardless of the good deeds that they have done, because that sets a precedent. It sets a precedent that if you come into the country illegally, All you have to do is be a good guy, a good citizen, a business owner. You have to have a job and you'll get amnesty from the government. All you have to do is be good. That sets a precedent and it'll encourage a bunch of people to flow into the country illegally. We don't need that. We need punishment for every single illegal in this country. That's what I want. I want mass deportations. I want a deliverance on what we voted for in 2024. For all of the illegals, regardless if they're criminal or not, to be deported, to get out of the country. No compassion, no sympathy for that, because that is the only thing that will allow our country to prosper and survive for years to come. If we open up our borders, we don't have a country. And giving amnesty to millions of people just because they're good, just because they happen to be a good guy or a good girl, that is the same thing as getting rid of our borders. That is what compassion in a political sense does. We need to have compassion and sympathy and empathy in our daily lives as individuals. Our political system, our government, our elected officials, they should have no compassion for people that are breaking our laws. Really, they shouldn't. They should be looking out for us. They should have compassion, empathy, love, and respect for the American citizens who they're representing. Not for people, not for Guadalupe, not for Eduardo and his 10 children that want to come over to the country. They should be having their respect and their love, and their responsibility is to protect us and to look out for us. For heritage Americans, that includes blacks, it includes whites, it includes Hispanics that have been here for generations, Asians that have been here for generations. It does not include foreigners, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, we're over capacity. We're just talking about illegal immigration at the time, which should be just a no-brainer. Another conversation that we could be having is whether or not migration in general is something that we should continue allowing, whether or not we are over capacity in regards to immigrants currently coming over, whether or not we should continue letting people into the country, even legally, at this point, because it's like we're over capacity as a country. But all we're saying, and all these sheriffs are saying, is that we need to deport, we need to enforce the law for these law-breaking, criminal, illegal immigrants who have committed crimes in addition to just being in the country illegally. And I don't understand why that's such a big deal. Like, let's deal with that first. Let's just make that a norm. If you are a criminal, just get out of the country, no exception. You were already here illegally and then you committed a crime. Get the hell out. We don't need you here. And at the same time, we need to actually be looking at these illegals who have not committed crimes. I mean, they've committed the crime of breaking into the country, not getting legal citizenship status. They need to go too. Because we have a country, we have a national interest. We need to protect our nation. We need it to survive. We need it to survive for many decades to come. And allowing illegals to stay just because they're good, that's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. So at the very least, at the minimum, at the bare minimum, let's get illegals who have committed heinous crimes out of the country. It's insane. It's absolutely insane that we're even talking about this, that this is even controversial in the slightest. Like, that is the moderate option. You're illegal and then you rape one of our women. You're illegal and you kill someone. I mean, we should be hanging you publicly. The moderate option is sending you out of our country, sending you to some El Salvadorian prison, mega prison, whatever. I mean, we should be making an example and hanging you publicly and broadcasting it, but we're not doing that. We're doing the moderate option of getting our local law enforcement officials, our sheriffs, people that want to collaborate with ICE, to check them, to vet them, and if they have committed a crime, sending them the hell out of our country. What's the problem? What's the big deal? So I have a lot of respect for the sheriffs who were standing up to this ridiculous effort, this ridiculous initiative at the state government level. Much respect to Mike Lewis in Wicomico County for fighting the fight and making sure that we're not disrespected, we're not walked all over by these out-of-touch leftist Democrats who don't give a crap about us and about our interests. So thank you for watching and have a great night.